The time is now 6:52 on this Thursday morning, and here's what you need to know before you go.
You can expect extra distracted driving enforcement on Minnesota roads this month. It's part of the state's push to make sure no lives are lost to something that could have been prevented. According to data from the state, in the last 6 years, 162 people died in distracted driving crashes. Authorities hope having extra law enforcement out on our roads between now and the end of the month will be a step toward eventually bringing the number of deaths down to zero. Along with steep fines, distracted drivers could face felony charges if you injure or kill someone.
A Duluth man accused of threatening to shoot out the windows of an elementary school is headed to trial. A pretrial hearing was held yesterday for 73-year-old Richard Nolt. That sets up a jury trial on his threats of violence charge scheduled to start June 30th. Nolt was arrested last September after staff at Mr. D's bar in West Duluth allegedly heard him threaten to shoot the windows out of Laura MacArthur Elementary, which is visible from his home. Bar staff reported Nolt to law enforcement. He was released on bail 1 day after his arrest. A judge recently found him competent to stand trial. Now, April is Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness Month, and yesterday Superior City leaders took time to raise awareness of the issue. That includes Mayor Jim Payne proclaiming it Sexual Assault Awareness Month. He called on individuals, organizations, and groups to help prevent sexual violence and provide support to survivors. CASTA in Superior has a 24-hour helpline, an emergency shelter, support groups, and more. That helpline number is listed on your screen right now. We'll also have it on our website.
Another candidate is hoping to challenge Congressman Pete Stauber in the upcoming midterms. Bob Helland, a Democrat who lives in Duluth's Lakeside neighborhood, announced his campaign for Minnesota's 8th Congressional District. Helland has run for office 3 times before. He works in the medical device industry and has been part of performances for several local organizations, including as the Harbor Monsters mascot and the Minnesota Ballet. In his announcement, Helland says he is running specifically to remove Stauber from office and GOP support for President Trump.
A school district in northwest Wisconsin is looking for millions in funding to keep their facilities running, and leaders there say a yes vote will not increase costs for taxpayers. The Maple School District is asking the community to approve a $14.5 million referendum to help repair aging facilities. That includes a wide range of projects across their 4 schools, including roof and driveway repairs, new plumbing and HVAC systems, and updated security cameras. The referendum will be on the ballot on April 7th. If it fails, the district would have another opportunity to try to pass one in November.